Chattanooga is well known for being a tourist destination. From the beautiful nature close by to even the aquarium down the street, we've got something for everyone that visits this beautiful little town. But maybe we've even got some stuff for visitors that aren't quite so local. Gather close, dearest patrons. I have some grim history to share with you. Even though Chattanooga's history with UFO sightings isn't as well known as other famous stories like Roswell, New Mexico, or Mount Rainier, Washington, we actually have a surprisingly robust history when it comes to UFO sightings. These stories were then published in the local papers, and then cataloged and organized by the local history librarians and placed into the clipping files. Let's dig into the research. According to the clipping files, the earliest sightings of UFOs in Chattanooga predate the 1947 flying disc craze that made the Roswell and Mount Rainier sightings famous by nearly half a century. In mid-January of 1910, the Chattanooga News and the Chattanooga Daily Times reported sightings of an unknown airship over the course of many days. The airship was described as cigar-shaped and thought to be a dirigible balloon. One article from the Daily Times even referred to it as the craft of a sky pirate who had sinister designs upon Chattanooga. After distressing Chattanoogans for a few days, the mysterious aircraft was then debunked by the Daily Times as being a paper balloon created by a Squire Ed Bass and some more of the small boys out in South Chattanooga. Despite the first UFO sighting being debunked, it seems as though the subsequent recorded sightings don't have as neat of a conclusion of debunking as the 1910 sightings. The next recorded sighting occurred on May 2nd of 1917. According to a local taxicab driver, Irvin Starks, he reported seeing a 100-foot-long, well-lighted dirigible flying over the city at 11:15 p.m. Starks further claimed that a large ball of fire was dropped by the aircraft as it was flying over Cameron Hill, but no explosion was heard. Another report was called in at 11:30 p.m. that night by a St. Elmo resident inquiring about a disturbance in the sky to the south. After this report, it seems as though reported sightings take a 30-year pause until the summer of 1947. On June 24th of 1947, a private pilot named Kenneth Arnold spotted what the press referred to as flying discs or flying saucers while flying near Mount Rainier, Washington. Arnold's sighting sparked what has now become known as the 1947 flying disc craze. After his sighting, reports of UFO sightings skyrocketed across the country and even in Chattanooga that summer. On July 8th, 1947, the Daily Times reported multiple flying saucer sightings as they flew over North Chattanooga towards Red Bank and Hickson. The next day, another batch of sightings occurred as UFOs were reported flying over Missionary Ridge, the Shoals Tannery, Hamel Road, and the Market Street Bridge. In 1961, we get the introduction of a key character in Chattanooga's UFO history. In a Chattanooga News Free Press article from that year, Bill Cooley discusses the sightings that had recently occurred in Chattanooga and other areas, along with the first sightings that happened in 1910. Towards the end of the article, Cooley mentions that the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, or NICAP for short, urges Chattanoogans to notify their local agent, E. David Kammer, about any UFO sightings. According to a 1966 article, concerned over both a lack of information and the wild rumors linked to unidentified flying objects, a group of Chattanoogans have recently formed a subcommittee of NICAP in order to scientifically and objectively study and assess reports of UFOs. This subcommittee of NICAP, headed by the previously mentioned David Kammer, aimed to investigate reported sightings in the Chattanooga area. Subsequent articles discussing UFO sightings from the late 60s into the early 70s then bring in David Kammer to discuss the reports and urge locals to report sightings to the subcommittee. After multiple smaller sightings, the next major sighting to occur happened on October 17th of 1973. City police responding to the call of a frantic-sounding woman in Walton Park Wednesday night reportedly saw an unidentified flying object take off from an area near Charles A. Bell Elementary School, and one policeman said he followed the UFO all the way to Missionary Ridge before it disappeared. Police dispatchers reported the call about 7 p.m. from a woman claiming to have seen a cigar-shaped object land in the wooded area near the school. Fire and Police Commissioner Gene Roberts rushed to the scene of the sighting at Charles A. Bell Elementary School shortly after the first reports and directed a search of the area along with Sergeant Lester Shell. Results of the search were inconclusive, police said, but numerous scraps of paper and other debris reportedly were seen dangling from the tops of trees in the immediate area. Other bits of debris were found on the ground nearby. Sergeant Shell reported that he had observed the UFO rise from the woods near the school and then take off towards Missionary Ridge. Sergeant Shell said he followed the UFO as far as he could until it disappeared over the crest of Missionary Ridge. At the same time, another call came to the police from Fire Hall 14 of St. Elmo, where Captain Oscar Eves reported that he and a crew of 5 firemen had seen an object hovering over a nearby church for some 20 minutes. Captain Eves said the object appeared to be luminous and oblong-shaped, adding that it's really hard to describe what we saw, but 6 men saw the same thing at the same time, and we watched it through binoculars. According to Captain Eves, the object went over a ridge separating Alton Park from St. Elmo, heading northeast. Police said that such a path would have placed the object in the vicinity of Charles A. Bell School at the exact same time that the woman reported it. After the 7 o'clock sightings, numerous calls began to come in from North Georgia, East Ridge, East Chattanooga, and other outlying areas, and county police reported getting calls from an area extending eastward from Signal Mountain to Lee Highway. Police said that descriptions of the UFOs varied, but that the objects sighted appeared to be traveling on a path similar to that of the planet Jupiter, crossing westward over the area like a bright light. Wednesday morning, UFO sightings were reported in Cleveland, Tennessee, and South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, police said. According to another article published the same day, the officers who reported seeing a UFO were met with mixed criticisms. Gene Roberts, the Fire and Police Commissioner, was quoted as saying, "I think they saw what they think they saw, but they don't know what it was, and I don't either." However, others weren't as supportive as Roberts. As stated in the same article, some of the other members of the police department were having fun kidding Shell and Jarrett, not the commissioner, about their experience chasing an outer space thing. Someone, who didn't want to admit their authorship, composed a poem to the rhyme of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and it was getting wide circulation at City Hall. Someone said the police had a warrant out for the thing because it didn't have a city sticker. After the incident, reported sightings continued through the end of the 1970s, and then seemed to no longer be documented. The final reported sighting mentioned in the clipping file was the sighting in Brainerd in 1979. Despite the fact that no further sightings have been reported since the 1970s, it's apparent that these stories have stuck around and inspired and sparked curiosity into the minds of local Chattanoogans. This can be seen in a 1995 retrospective article discussing the original 1910 sightings and the sighting that occurred in 1973. So, have UFOs stopped adding Chattanooga to their tourist itinerary? Look to the skies, dearest patrons. I'll let you decide.